Hello everyone and welcome back to Greenpine Zoo and Gardens, and welcome back to the Himalaya. Himalaya? Welcome back to the Asian Highlands, as we like to call them. I think that's better. But I guess I made that joke last week already, so here we are. In last week's episode we built this nice little habitat for the red pandas, and thank you so much for all the love that you gave this habitat and for confirming to me that this size would be enough for the pandas. I hope so, and yeah, I also think so. When you see those pandas in here, I think when it comes to realism, this habitat is quite the size they would need. Whoa, what was this? Headbutt? Nice. Well, so first animals moved into our Asian highlands, and I asked you guys what animals you want to see the next: the snow leopard or the Takin and the Markhor. And the majority of you guys wanted to see the Takin and the Markhor. So this is exactly what we are going to do. We are going to build a habitat for those two in today's episode. In today's XXL episode, I have to say, because yeah, you guys might have read on my channel that I am going to pause on Planet Coaster. Because right at the moment it's just, first of all, it's just a little bit too much for me, and second to that, I just don't have too much fun with it anymore right at the moment, and with the project as well, with the whole Alice in Wonderland theme and stuff. I also noticed that obviously you guys don't have that much fun with it anymore as well, because the views are going extremely down on these videos, and let's be completely honest, it's just taking too much time for me to create those videos, and after all, seeing that you guys don't enjoy it, I don't enjoy it, so it's better to put that on a pause. So therefore, my mind might have thought, well, one project less, we do have more time for Planet Zoo now, so let's get into it. Yeah, and that's exactly what happened, because I couldn't stop. And you're going to see it in a few minutes. I had to cut out lots of stuff which I'm usually not doing, because I really like to show you guys everything that I do to create those habitats. But yeah, if I had done that, this video would have lasted more than an hour. 1 hour and 15 minutes exactly. So I decided we're not doing that. We're cutting stuff out, stuff that you have seen already, and yeah. So I hope you guys can enjoy it. First thing that I've done, I wanted to create a mountainous habitat, so much stuff to climb for our animals, because all of the animals that are going to move in there are some kind of, no, I don't want to say goat, mountain goat, because the Takin is no goat, even they might look like them in some weird kind of way. Yeah, but we do have mountainous animals that live in the highlands, that live in the mountains, that climb rocks and stuff. So therefore we needed rocks, lots of them, high rocks, elevation, and yeah, therefore I got into the terrain work. This whole thing is going to be a little bit smaller in the end, the whole habitat, because as I was creating it and having a look at it from the visitor's path perspective, I thought, yeah, bake and play. Remember, we are building a zoo and not a natural reserve. So therefore I decided this has to be smaller, because this doesn't look zooish at all. It's just too big, too much space for the animals. And don't get me wrong, space for the animals is always great, it's always important, should be completely on first place when you do something for the animals. Think about the space that they need. But yeah, we're building a zoo. A heavily themed zoo, indeed, but still a zoo. And we've seen that with the cat house. We've seen it especially last week with the Red Pandas. So yeah, so therefore the habitat needed to be smaller. But before we are going to do that, I'm going to build the shelter for the animals. And therefore I wanted to have a shelter that is outside in the habitat, where the animals can go inside and lay a little bit down in the shade, but not go completely into the shelter or in the stable, let's say it that way. But it also is connected with the stable. So we're having this part of the building that I'm creating right now that is more into the Himalayan theme or the Nepal theme. And then we are going to have the actual stable that is not that much themed. We're going to have a flat roof on top of it, so it's more functional and not just decorational, if that makes sense. Yeah, so that is something that we are going to do, and later on you might have seen it already in the thumbnail. Later on we're going crazy with the habitat. Yeah, and I'll just keep it that way for now. So yeah, you might have noticed as well as I built the path down the hill. I lowered the whole terrain a little bit for the whole area because I decided we want to have more mountain, more elevation. So we have to go a little bit deeper with the terrain on the bottom of this area so that we can create this kind of illusion for the animals that are going to move in today, but also for the animals that are going to move in next, which is going to be the snow leopard. I already told you that I definitely want to have them in here, and we need a mountainous habitat for them as well. So therefore I have some ideas already, and you might remember the little passage that we do have on top right between the staff buildings, where you can actually go through the buildings and go to something like, yeah, it's not there already, but there's going to be something like a terrace where you can have an elevated view into the habitat for the snow leopards. So that's the plan. So going back to what I said, did I say that next week we are going to have the snow leopards? Because that would not be completely correct. We're going to have the snow leopards in here indeed, but yeah, to get back to the point that I usually wanted to go to, when you look at the path leading down the way this hill, we have space between the path that's going down and the elevated area where all the staff buildings are on top of it. There's a reason for that, because I'm planning something with that space. Actually, I'm planning to have a small habitat there. And this is the part where I need you guys again. I need you to tell me what animal would make sense in there. I want to create something like, yeah, in an aviary style. So mesh fence in front of it, maybe have some natural backdrop for that or whatsoever. And I was thinking about a smaller animal that is going to move in there. An animal that would fit this area. So I was thinking maybe we're going to have the tanuki in there, or let's go a little bit crazy because those animals do live in Asia as well. What about the wolverine? because I think this area would fit the Wolverine as well so much. The palace cat would be a great option as well, but we do have the palace cat already in our cat's house, so that's not an option. Yeah, what do you guys think? Are we going with the Wolverine or with the Tanuki? Or do you have another animal in mind that would perfectly in there, that actually is in the game and I don't have to use a mod for? I know there are some beautiful mods out there, but yeah, I'm still not there. As long as I don't know for 100% that Planet Zoo is not supported any longer by Frontier, I'm not going to use any mods. So therefore I need an animal that is actually in the game. So if you have any clue, any idea, any wish for another animal, let me know in the comment section and I will be happy to look at it and yeah, take that into consideration, as one would say. So for the stable for the animals, I wanted to go back a little bit more into realism as we did in the beginning as we started this zoo. And it's got a little bit wishy-washy in between, but yeah, I want to go back into that. So I wanted to have some separation. Can I really call it habitats? So what is it called? I know the word for it. It is called... Damn it. I don't know the word yet. We're going to have some tiny habitats for the animals, especially for the male ones, where you can separate them from the other animals. So if you have, and I totally say the same thing all the time, if you have baby animals in the habitat, or if you have sick animals or whatsoever, you can separate them in here. So therefore we do have two, because we have two different species in here. So if you have to separate both males, you can have one separation box for the Markhor male and the other separation box for the Takin male. So there's that. And therefore I built this because I thought this would make totally sense and you would see something like this in a real zoo. And as we are going for realism, yeah, we need something like that. Also, what you're not going to see, because I cut that out, is something I think I did for the other hoofed animals habitats, for the deer and for the water buffaloes as well. You can use some of the fabric pieces, the African ones I think it is, color them in the same color and put that in front of a fence, so you can have somewhat of a separation within the separation boxes for the animals, so that they don't see each other. So they can smell each other, they can hear each other, but they can't see each other, so that they might not have too much stress when they are in those small separation habitats. Yeah, here comes the separation one. What I'm also going to do right after this, I think, is we are going to build the gates, and I was and still am a big fan of those gates that you can actually move. So this is something, if you actually not just building in this game, but playing the game and get a little bit more into management, this could be some fun idea, especially when you do franchise, which I'm going to do in the next DLC Zoo series. I think I told you guys already, for the North American DLC we're going to try to build a North American zoo with franchise mode. So this might be, as I said, a fun part for franchise mode, when you have actually working gates and you can separate animals. And then you actually can close or open the gates, and with that you can open a new habitat for the animals or lock some of the animals away. But always take care of that. This is a fun thing to do, but you have to take care of it, because your keepers won't be able to reach one of the animals. They can only reach the animals that are in that part where the keeper gate is. So if you put something like this in there and close it, your keepers won't be able to go there as well. So you have to think about that as well. So yeah, just saying. Not that you're going to use it in franchise and your animals are going to die because they are starving to death, and then you're going to say, hey, Bake and Play, it's your fault that all my animals died. So yeah, let's keep that in mind. But still, I think it is a fun way to play the game when you can actually really separate your animals. So here we go. Yeah, and I have to tell you guys, I needed to ask my husband how to build this, because I didn't understand the mechanics, how you could build such a moving gate. So what kind of mechanics that you would need. First of all, I used those small tires and put like 10 or 20 of them in there. And then my husband told me, no, you don't have to do that, you only need 2, and you need to combine it with your gate, and you have something like a metal thing where those tires can roll, so you can actually move it in there. And yeah, he was totally right, and I did it like that, and now it doesn't just look good, it actually would work in real life as well. Yeah, I'm just not a technician. I'm an animal nerd, but not a technician at all. So here you can see how the whole thing works. We're going to copy that around, so we're going to have those gates for the 2 separation boxes as well. And yeah, at least one more on the inside as well, to separate the animals in the inside too. So the space right before that entrance gate for our keepers is going to be the keepers space, where we're going to have some of the staff things that I built when I was building the cat house. Yeah, it was in the end of the cat house where I did some of the some of the staff items that you could use in the game. So I just chose a few of them randomly and put them in there for the staff area, so that it looks a little bit more realistic. Just filled the shelves in with some vegetables and fruit, and yeah, that's that. You're going to see that by the end of the video, when we're going to have the real-time part and moving around. You're going to have a glimpse of the inside as well. But I did cut that out because, yeah, as I told you, it was just too much material for this video, that I had to decide what to keep and what to cut out, because I didn't want to make this a 2-part build, where you see one video where I built the whole shelter, and the other video where I built the actual habitat for the animals. So I thought that this might have been a little bit boring for you guys, so I didn't want to do that, and therefore I cut out the rest. Oh, and one thing that I always forget to tell you guys, by the beginning of the video especially, as I told you guys, as I stop or pause with the stuff in Planet Coaster 2, that also cost me a few subscribers, which I was aware of. I knew that this could and would happen, and therefore it is more important than ever that you guys hit the like button for this video. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't done that already, so that we can make up for those subscribers that I might have lost because of deciding to not continue with Planet Coaster 2 for a while. So I would be very, very, very grateful for you guys to support me. So we're getting a little bit into rock work right now, to create the actual habitat for the animals, and this is where I went wild. The first thing was this area right here that I'm going to create with all the rocks in here, and you might see the shape that is going to be created on the right side, and maybe you see the same thing that I saw and would have made the same decision. Just wait for it a few more minutes. Yeah, so I was creating those rocks around here. I wanted to have something like an area where the animals could actually roam around, and there, can you see it? Can you see it, what I created here? It looked to me like a basin. Basin? Like a pool, a natural pool, let's call it this. And then I thought, yeah, we don't have waterfalls already in our zoo, we need some. And then I built this waterfall here, and I tried to play around a little bit with the faux waterfalls, and then I had an idea for the small ponds. You can actually build that without having real water in there by using the upper part of those faux waterfalls. Yeah, the upper one. Turn it around, turn it around, turn it around. Yeah, this here. Where the water is almost floating silently. Just cover it up with a few rocks and then you have water in there. The only thing you have to take care about this is your animals are not able to drink out of it. So don't get that wrong. You still need to have a water supply in your habitat because, yeah, as I said, your animals are not able to drink out of that, but you can use this for decorational options. And I think therefore this is a nice hack. So just decorating the waterfall a little bit. And then we are going further into the habitat. And the first thing that I wanted to have in here is I wanted to go more into the theme, more into the Nepal area, more into the Himalayan theme. So therefore I thought we need some kind of a shrine in here on a rock. Right in the middle of the habitat for the animals, so that the animals are able to get to there and roam around it and make it look like we are in the middle of Nepal. And I think it worked out pretty fine. You're not going to see the whole build of it because I put some decoration around it as well, and something like a bowl with some fruit in there. Yeah, which you would also see in a shrine like this. I was playing around with a few options of building materials that I maybe could use for this. And once we are finished with this habitat here, I think that this area is my favorite area in the zoo already. Because it is heavily themed, but it comes so much together. It is so beautiful in the end. So yeah, we are going to walk along by the end of the video and having a look at it. We are going to walk through the gates of the big aviary and go into the Himalayan area, and I think it is so beautiful. It is like you're entering a complete new world, and that is exactly what I wanted to have. Oh, and I have to tell you something more. When you walk along the habitat for the red pandas, you might have noticed that we do have something like a tunnel there. So we do have the rocks around it, and we do have a tunnel that is going straight ahead. So when you don't go down the hill to the habitat for the Markhor and the Takin and also the snow leopards and all the other animals that are going to be down there, and you walk straight ahead, you can walk through the rocks, go downhill there, and there will be a connection to the exit of the zoo. So that's the plan that I had, because I wanted our visitors to be able to shortcut the zoo. So if you don't want to see a certain habitat, you don't have to. You can exit early, or you can, if you don't have that much time, you can just take a short tour and yeah, leave some of the habitats out when you don't have time for them at your time of the visit. So that's the plan, and I want to make it like something like I have to look for the word. Just give me a second. Yeah, easy word, didn't come up with it. Like a mine. So we're going to have some wooden beams, some rocks in there. Yeah, very adventurous. And this could also be a gate to another area in the zoo, maybe a North American area or European area or whatsoever. We can play with it. But we have to keep in mind that we don't have that much space behind that. You might see it in the end of the video, or you can see it already when you're going through the tunnel. You are very close to the exit of the zoo, so maybe it is not the best idea for a European area. But we also would have the mountainous background, so therefore it would totally make sense if we would have something there like this. So yeah, maybe we'll get into that once the Asian Highlands is finished. So this that I'm building right here, maybe you can remember my ideas in the beginning when we started to build this area, where I was talking about maybe having a restaurant in here, something like an Asian monastery in the mountains where our guests can sit on a terrace and have their food. Yeah, I decided not to go with a restaurant here. We're definitely going to build a restaurant. I think it would make sense right next to the giant pandas, because all the guests would go to the pandas and see them, and so you can make some extra money from them when they are hungry and go into the restaurant. So yeah, to get back to the point, what I wanted to say is I decided not to have a restaurant, but I did like the idea of the monastery in the mountains, so therefore I built it here to be part of the habitat for the Markhor and Takin, because I thought it would be such a fun thing to have in here and such an eye-catcher. And yeah, in the end of the video, when you see it all come together, it is just perfect in here. The only down part is by the angle where the monastery is standing on the mountain. The whole habitat is a little bit dark. And that is the problem that I do have with Planet Zoo in general, and especially with the lighting in here, and I hope they're going to solve that in Planet Zoo 2 once it is going to be planned, that they will work on that, because this is such a downer. And it doesn't matter which time of day you chose the clock to, there's always a problem with the lighting. So you don't have light in the morning, you don't have light in the evening, you can do whatever you want, it's just dark, and I hate that. I really do. Because, as I said, this is such a beautiful habitat and you can see it in its entirety, and that's pretty sad. So here's something to get a little bit more color into that. I decided we're going to use those gold temple pieces from the South America DLC, which I didn't use at all ever. And they are so perfect for this because they add that little opulence, richness to this, and yeah, it's just looking gorgeous. And I think we have to work on the back of this as well, as yeah, as you can see it from the other side as well. When you are going to leave the zoo, you have a glimpse on it as well, and so therefore we have to work on that, I think. But not today. Not today, Satan. Not today. I cut the rest of it out so you can see the finished build right here. I also put some of the decal and dirt pieces on it so that it looks a little bit more realistic and not too clean. Just a plateau for the animals so they can reach the upper part here. We're going to have the herbal scent animal enrichment item on here as well, so that the animals actually go up to that point. I have to confess something, because the animals do have different hitboxes, the Markhor and the Takin. The hitbox for the Takin is a little bit bigger than for the Markhor, so the Markhor is able to walk all the way up to the monastery and to all the platforms that I'm building right here, whilst the Takin can only roam around until where our shrine is, so it can't go any further. That's a little bit sad, because I wanted the animals to be able to use all of the area, and I think we might have had a problem if we would have still selected animal welfare, but yeah, as we don't, because of the honey badgers, we don't have a problem with this, and therefore I think it's not too bad, because you have the Takins on the lower part of the habitat all of the time, and most of the times you have the Markhors on the upper part of the habitat. So this is pretty nice and pretty realistic, because you would see something like that in real life as well. Some of the animals would choose one part of the habitat, and some of the other animals would choose the other part of the habitat. So therefore I don't have that much of a problem with it. So I didn't see the need to work on it and make everything accessible for the Takin as well, because it would have changed the view of the habitat immensely, and I didn't want to have that. Yeah, I wanted to have the trees in there. The trees made the whole habitat a little bit darker, or much more darker, and I think about maybe removing one or two of the trees and put them somewhere else, just for the sake of having somewhat of a lighter habitat. You can see it's very beautiful. It's very beautiful, but yeah, it's very dark. It's very dark, and that is sad, because it took so much time to build all this. I think this is something, some of the habitat, or one of the habitats that took me the most time. I think it was about 6 or 7 hours that I built on the whole thing. Yeah, it took quite some time. And I didn't use a lot of different plants in here. Most of the plants were those trees, the creosote bush, and the bison grass. And then some of the flowers that we got with the conservation DLC, I think it was. Or was it the grassland DLC? One of those. And yeah, that's almost it. And with that being said, we are already at the end of the video as well. I hope you guys did enjoy today's episode. I hope you guys like the habitat in here. If you do so, don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't done that already. Leave a comment, click the hype button, and if you want to, join our keeper crew. How you can do that, you can see in the description of the video by clicking on the link. So all I have to say is take care of you guys. I hope you tune in next week when we are going to continue to build in here, and yeah, have a great week. Bye guys.